What's up, nerds and nerdettes and wee little nerdlings all? It's your buddy Big Johnny G, the two Gun Pixie presents Legendary Gaming. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for coming by and deciding to check out another episode of Tabletop Takeout Tuesday. You know, this is a series where I talk about games I enjoy. I tell you why I enjoy these games and why I like to make them knowledge and bring them to people and let people see these games and experience these games to see if they like them. Maybe for the same reasons as me. Maybe you got your own reasons. But we deliver a video every day of the week. We do this sponsor-free. We do this unscripted. This is all us. This is us on our non-monetized channel, just looking to have some fun here on YouTube. What better reason to do a channel? But anyway, why don't we get down to the table, my friends, because I'm itching to talk about this game, a game that really touches upon who I am. Yeah. So why don't we get down to the table and I'll tell you why I enjoy the Dungeons & Dragons Wrath of Ashardalon game. Wrath of Ashardalon is part of a series of games that is put out by Wizards of the Coast of the Dungeons & Dragons line. This series of board games, there's 6 of them in total so far at the time of the filming of this, and I'm not sure if they're continuing it forward or not. I hope so. But it is, actually I think it was the second game. It's been a while now. There's 6 of them out. I actually think Ravenloft was the first one, and then Ashardalon. Just splitting hairs here over that, right? So I wanted to start talking about this series of games, and Wrath of Ashardalon was what I decided to start with. Now, this game is a Dungeons & Dragons game, which is a role-playing game. These are a series of board games, so there are going to be differences. However, as I've talked about these games in past videos, they probably are the truest RPG to board gaming feel that's out there. But that isn't the only reason why I like this game and this series. Now, before we continue, a word from our sponsor. And who is it that is sponsoring to Gun Pixie? Who could possibly be letting us do whatever we want, however we want, and not kill off who we are? By Gygax's beard, it's us! We are our only sponsors. But we do have a Zazzle store if you want to check out some of our merch and help us out a little bit. And some really cool, funny gaming designs. You see some of them being worn right here by me. So please, if you enjoy Two Gun Pixie, why don't you take a moment and check out our Zazzle store and see some of the designs. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, mugs, and so much more. Thank you very much, and let's get back to the video. Got you with that. You actually thought we finally had a sponsor. Oh, that's good. Anyway, the very first thing I have to mention about this series of games is their interchangeability. That each and every one of the 6 games in the series is able to mix and match cards, monsters, adventurers, classes, all together. So there may be several fighters, or paladins, or clerics, or wizards between these games. You can use any of the fighter decks when building your character, when taking the base character and adding on the class skills. If you have multiple copies of these games, well, not multiple copies of the same one, that'd be pointless. But if you have the multiple copies, then you can take a fighter deck from any of the other ones, and you can use those cards to build your fighter for Wrath of Ashardalon. I love that. That's amazing. I don't understand why more games that do come out with a series of games, although I guess there really aren't a lot that does it like this. But they need to do it more like this. I honestly do believe that this game and the rest in the series will probably provide you the greatest RPG experience that a tabletop board game is going to be able to give you. Now, keep in mind that Wrath of Ashardalon and next several games, all the games except for Dungeon of the Mad Mage, you're limited to only second level, advancing only to the second level, which doesn't feel very RPG-like. But with Dungeon of the Mad Mage, they did incorporate new chips that you can level up past level 2 and go to 3 and 4. So that really helps the series out. But the way this feels like an RPG, I mean, this has all the feel of a hack and slash, murder hobo kind of Dungeons & Dragons feel. And the reason I say that is because you're not going to get a lot of role-playing interaction in the board game, because a board game has to be, even if you're dealing with a sandbox game to a degree, but these are not sandbox. But you're dealing with a limited amount of options. You're basically going to be railroaded through the story. Even if you do have several options during the course of the game, you're still following course. There's no interaction with the mayor. There's no going to the tavern for extra rumors, or in between the adventures in the later modules, I almost said modules. In the later boxes, they do have the ability to go to town and spend money and upgrade things. But for Wrath of Ashardalon, and also, I guess, the earlier ones like Castle Ravenloft, where this whole series started, that's not really an option there. So it does take away from the RPG feel, leaving you more with, as I said, the hack and slash murder hobo aspect of Dungeons & Dragons. But regardless of how you feel about that, it is still an aspect of Dungeons & Dragons. And these are able to bring that to the tabletop. Now, high replayability in the game isn't just delivered because of the interchangeability between the different box sets. It's also a matter of the amount of cards. There's so many. There's a ton of cards that come with each of these boxes, each of these games. The adventure booklets themselves have I don't know, maybe 10 or so adventures each in them. So that's going to... And now the earlier ones like Wrath of Ashardalon don't play through like a campaign, but eventually as the series goes on, we do see that evolve into the series. So overall, the replayability of this game comes at you from many different angles. There's many different things going on here that is going to make you play the game over and over again and have completely different experiences. Now, I also want to say that this is a Dungeons & Dragons game, so expect miniatures. And boy, do these miniatures look cool. Now, I think most of them are already existing miniatures that they've been putting out. Wizards of the Coast, the Dungeons & Dragons, has been putting out for a couple of decades. Now, traditionally, the Dungeons & Dragons miniatures were pre-painted with the launch of Wizards of the Coast, 3rd edition, and pretty much since then they've been pre-painted. But for these games, they are not painted. So if you enjoy painting miniatures, then there's a whole slew of Dungeons & Dragons miniatures to be found in this game. And Ashardalon looks amazing. And if any of you have painted Ashardalon, please post a picture somewhere and notify us for it. Put in hashtag 2Gun Pixie at 2Gun Pixie. I would love to see what a painted Ashardalon looks like. Hey, what's up, super fans? I mean, look at it. It's almost 10 minutes into the video. Are you still watching? You rock. Look, if you're a super fan, you've watched this far in the video so far, why don't you leave a thumbs up in the comments, and I'll know you're a super fan. Now, another amazing thing about Ashardalon, and it's the same if you have the rest of the series, it just expands this awesomeness out to even more. But if you have even one of these games, like Ashardalon. You're also able to DM. Well, not really, but let me explain. You can create your own stories. You don't have to just follow the stories in the adventure book. You can use the cards of given monsters, items, and create your own adventure. Set up how the tiles are going to be just the way they're set up in the adventure book. Use that as a guideline to create your own tile stacks. And as I said just a moment ago, if you have more of these boxes, if you have more in the series, that's going to give you a greater pool to draw from for things like monsters, treasure, traps, and all the other cool things. And if you've done this, leave a comment down and let me know, because I haven't tried this aspect of it yet, but it's got to be cool. Now, I don't know how our editor is going to put this all together, but I do know I have one more thing I want to say, and if you watched yesterday's midday monologue, then this is something I've already touched upon. But specifically, since we are talking about this series, this game, I have to say that I really wish Wizards of the Coast would come out with some sort of player's box, a collection box, a box where you can literally keep all of the heroes and their class cards and abilities all in one box. So you take out whichever one of the game series you want to play, and then you go to your character box and you put your characters together, instead of having to go through each and every one of the boxes in order to mix and match a team together. I just think that would be really helpful, because as of right now, I'm keeping my team in a Ziploc bag. Okay, that's not cool. So, have you played any of the adventure system cooperative D&D games? And if so, which is your favorite and why? I'm looking at them all up there on the shelf behind me in the camera. I think I might have to say, well, Castle Ravenloft has been my toughest, going back and back and back to that. I think, Dungeon the Mad Mage, I like the way they advance things up to level 4, but I think overall my favorite in the series might still be Wrath of Ashardalon. Thank you for joining me for this Tabletop Takeout Tuesday, and let me know also, in general, what's your favorite Dungeons & Dragons board game if it's not one of these. Thank you very much, everyone. I'm your buddy Big John at G for 2 Gun Pixie presents Legendary Gaming, and my friends, I am out of here.